Hello and welcome everyone to our lesson today. I hope everyone is doing very well. Today we will start studying Unit 9. So please open your students' books, page 76. Unit 9. Spend, spend, spend. Giving it all away. So what do you think this unit will be about? I think it will be about donation. Donation. What's a donation? Donation is giving money to people who are in need. So when you give others, so you are donating. Okay? Now, before reading, we have here two tasks. Let's read the first one. Number 1. Work with a partner. Imagine you had £1 million and had to give it away to people that you didn't know personally. Look at the list and decide how much money you would give each group and why. Actually, we have here 6 groups. The first one, an old people's home, homeless people, wildlife conservation, medical research, an international disaster, and a children's hospital. So please, you have to think about it and decide how much money you would give each group and give your reason. Okay, now let's go for the second task. Are there any other groups you would rather give the money to? Who and why? So you can write your notes in your notebooks. Now, we have here some photos. Who can you see here in these photos? This man is called Percy Ross. And here he is in the hospital. He is sick. Here, when he was a child. And here in this photo, he is giving silver coins to children at a parade. Okay, let's start reading. Task 1. Read the text. Who was Percy Ross and how did he decide who to give his money to on a regular basis? Okay, so now I want you to skim the text. Read it quickly, okay? Just get the gist of the text. And tell me who was Percy Ross and how did he decide who to give his money to on a regular basis? Go ahead, all the best. Have you finished? Let's check your work. Percy Ross was an entrepreneur who gave all his money away. He did this through a newspaper column called Thanks a Million. Good job. Now let's go for the next exercise. Task 2. 5 sentences have been removed from the text. Complete the text with 5 of the sentences A to F. There is one extra sentence that you don't need. So we have here 6 sentences and we have here 5 only. 5 missing sentences. So read and tell me which one is extra. So read and complete the text with 5 of them. Go ahead. All the best. Have you finished? Let's check your work. Number 1. C. Surely nobody in their right mind would do that. Number 2 is E. Then disaster struck and he lost all his money. 3. F. His parents would have bought him one if they had been able to afford it, but they were too poor. Number 4 is D. If Ruth thought they genuinely needed and deserved the money, he gave it to them. 5A. Nobody knows exactly how much this was. Okay, now let's go to our student's book. Task 3. Read the text again. Are these sentences true or false? Correct the false ones. So now you have to read the sentence first before listening and reading to the text. Then you have to decide which sentence is true and which one is false. Finally, you have to correct the false ones. So let's read the sentences together. Number 1. Percy Ross is the only millionaire who has given away all his money. Number 2. Ross' parents were born in the USA. 3. Ross' first business was a company that made plastic bags. 4. Ross gave money to some people who had come to the USA to start a new life. 5. Ross gave bikes to poor children because his parents hadn't been able to give him a bike. 6. Ross started his newspaper column and radio show at the same time. 7. Ross didn't send the money to everybody who asked for it. 8. After giving away all his money, Ross wished that he hadn't done it. So now, let's listen and read together. Okay, let's start.
Unit 9, page 77. Read. Exercise 3. Read and listen to the text.
Thanks a million. Imagine you had won $30 million in a competition. What would you do with the money? Would you give it all away? Well, surely nobody in their right mind would do that. But in fact, over the years there have been several examples of millionaires who gave away all their money to help others. One of the most famous was the entrepreneur Percy Ross. Ross was born in 1916 in Michigan, the son of poor immigrants from Latvia and Russia. His father worked in the USA as a junk dealer. But Percy soon showed a talent for business and made a fortune in the auction business. Then disaster struck and he lost all his money. But he soon made a fortune again with another business venture, this time manufacturing plastic bags. Business boomed, and he eventually sold his plastic bag company in 1969 for millions of dollars. Ross started giving away his vast fortune in 1977. He gave $50,000 to 50 Vietnamese refugees so that they could settle in a more comfortable home in the USA. Then he held a Christmas party for 1,050 poor children in the American town of Minneapolis. He remembered that when he was a child, he really wanted a bike, but he had to do without it. His parents would have bought him one if they had been able to afford it, but they were too poor. Ross bought a bike for every one of the 1,050 children at the party. After these first experiences of donating money, Ross came up with an idea for doing it on a regular basis. He started a newspaper column called Thanks a Million in order to give away his money, and later he hosted a radio show. Readers and listeners wrote in and asked for money. If Ross thought they genuinely needed and deserved the money, he gave it to them. He received about 40,000 requests every month and sent checks to about 150 every week. His gifts included money for poor families to help with their shopping bills and $16,500 in silver coins for children at a parade. It took years, but Ross finally succeeded in giving away his entire fortune. He published his last newspaper column on the 19th of September, 1999. "I've achieved my goal," he wrote. "I've given it all away." Nobody knows exactly how much this was. "I never tell anybody," he said. "It's not a question of how much one gives. Would I be a better person if I gave away $2 million than if I gave $1 million? However, people estimate that he gave away around $30 million. And did he have any regrets when he looked back on his life? On the contrary. "If I had had twice as much," he said, "I still would have given it all away. For every person I helped, there were 400 to 500 I couldn't help." Percy Ross passed away in 2001 at the age of 85.
Okay, have you finished? Let's check your work. Number 1 is false. He was the only millionaire who has given away all his money? No, there were several millionaires who gave their money. Number 2, Rose's parents were born in the USA? False. His parents were from Latvia and Russia. Number 3, Rose's first business was a company that made plastic bags? False. His first was an auction business. Number 4, Rose gave money to some people who had come to the USA to start a new life? True. 5, true. Number 6, false. Ross started his newspaper column and radio show at the same time? False. He started the newspaper column first and the radio show later. Number 7, true. Number 8, false. After giving away all his money, Ross wished that he hadn't done it. He wished he had given away twice as much. Okay, now let's go and do the next task. Reading tip. When you need to find specific information, for example times or prices, in a text, you don't have to read every word. It's easy to find the numbers quickly just by looking through. Task 4. Read the reading tip. We have already read it. Explain the significance of these dates and numbers in the life of Percy Ross. So you have enough time? Go back and check what's the significance of each time and date. Okay? All the best. Go ahead. Have you finished? Let's check your work. Number 1. Percy Ross was born in 1916. Number 2. In 1969, he sold his plastic bag company. Number 3. He gave $50,000 to 50 Vietnamese refugees. 4. He bought 1,050 bikes for poor children. 5. He received 40,000 requests for money every month. Number 6. He gave $16,500 in silver coins to children at a parade. 7. In 1999, he published his last newspaper column. 8. People estimate he gave away around $30 million. Good job. Now, understanding ideas. Actually, we have here 5 questions. I want you to read them carefully and write your own and answer them in your own words and ideas. Now, let's go for vocabulary. Thanks a million. Match the highlighted words in the text with these definitions. So we have here 15 definitions. I want you to read them and match them to the highlighted words. It will be your homework. Thanks a lot. See you.